Welcome back to Once Upon a Shredder. My name is Lance Zacchinato. Today we are here to talk about this gorgeous, amazing guitar. This is a guitar that I built from parts, and the most, I guess you could say, the most significant part was the body of the guitar. The guitar started out as a guitar I ordered from Guitar Fetish, Pro JT-100. COVID-19 came along and really turned the world upside down. During that time, I developed my own fetish, as it were. I became super interested in modern guitars that were made to look like vintage guitars, that kind of thing. And the first company I came across, many of you know about this company, is Eastwood Guitars. Their guitars, their higher end guitars, especially if you go above like $1,000 or so, are amazing guitars. They are punched so high above their weight. The guitar that I had and loved, and had several of them, were the Sidejack Pro. It was the Sidejack Pro DLX. Another guitar company that has amazing guitars too, but in this case, of essentially one style of retro guitar, and that is a Mosrite inspired guitar. So I ordered a bunch of those guitars as well. I had an embarrassing number of guitars from both companies. But one of the Hallmark guitars that I bought was not directly from Hallmark, was one that I got on Reverb, and it was this one. It was the Hallmark Art Series Metallic Flame. Possibly not surprising for many of you. I am not a collector. I'm sure some of you feel the same way. You play guitars, you don't really collect guitars. Even if you have a lot of guitars, you want guitars that you can play, ones that you will play. Any one of the guitars that you have, that there would be a context in which you would play those. If I have a guitar that does not fit that bill, it is a guitar that I believe I should not have. And the reason why I should not have it is because I don't want a guitar taking up space, regardless of how gorgeous it is. So when it came time to make decisions about guitars that I would actually use, and I would use in the contexts in which I just described, the Eastwood guitars, most of them anyway, and the Hallmark guitars were ones that fell through. I had this Xaviere guitar that I wasn't playing a lot, that I really liked, that I thought, you know what? I wonder if I can turn this into a guitar that sort of scratches that itch, that gorgeous color motif, the flames, all of that. And I was inspired to do that. So I'd done several guitars already that I was happy with. None of them were perfect, but I really liked them, and I really liked the results I was getting, and I felt like I was onto something. So I wouldn't say I put in hundreds of hours, but I would say I probably put in 20s of hours pinstriping and learning how to pinstripe and trying to perfect that, because I wanted to at least get competent enough to pinstripe this when the time came. And you can see some of my examples. These are just me practicing on palette paper. So the progression of painting a guitar, if you're customizing a guitar, some of you already know this is gonna be boring for you. But once you remove the original finish, you need to make sure that the guitar is sanded properly and it's ready to receive the primer. So you wanna make sure that body is nice and smooth. In this case, I used House of Color Orion Silver. The Orion Silver has a sort of a sparkle in it, right? And the idea was that would be the base coat, and on top of that would eventually go the Kandy coats. The Kandy coats were purple, that's with a B at the beginning, and then I added the purple on the other side because I wanted that purple to purple blend. The process is, and let's just say when I say apply, let's say I'm either applying a paint or I'm applying the clear coat. No matter what the process is, the cycle is this: apply, clean, sand, clean, apply, clean, sand, clean, apply, clean, sand, clean, apply, etc. That is the cycle. Whether you're priming, whether you're painting, or whether you're putting on the clear coat, that is the cycle. That is the way to do it right. And that's what I learned from the folks who, for example, finish cars full-time, and that's their gig. So once that was all done, I needed to stencil. So I looked online how people do flame stencils. I had no idea. So you can see the pictures here as I proceeded from step to step with the stenciling, eventually ended up with the gold stencil at the end. And when I was done, I had this beautiful gold flame. I was going to leave it at that. Then came time to do the pinstriping. I'd honed my craft, so I thought, and it came time to pinstripe, and I did pinstripe, and it came out okay. My girlfriend thought it was okay. I was not satisfied. If you haven't gathered by this point, I'm a perfectionist to my own destruction probably someday, but I'm a perfectionist, and I was not satisfied. So I thought, okay is not good enough for me. I want it to be really good, And I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that with my own hands, so I made lemonade out of lemons, and I decided that I would embellish the pinstriping that I already had on there, and I was going to add sort of kind of like tiny filigree. So the blue that would have been just a straight line pinstriping, what it became was there are little blue flames that come off from that. Just little minuscule blue flames. And that worked out well. I was satisfied with that. It took a bit of work, but I finally said, you know what? I think I got it to a point where it's good enough for me. And then it was time to lay down the clear coat. And the buffing, of course, is super important when you're dealing with clear coat. You've got to buff, and you've got to buff well, and you've got to have a lot of patience. If you want a glassy sheen, and you want it to be truly glassy sheen, you have to have patience and do it right. And in the end, it turned out really well. I ended up scrapping that neck, and I ordered a neck, again from Guitar Fetish. I ordered a Strat style neck. After I got that neck, I went ahead and decided I was going to finish the headstock. And I also, at the time I ordered the neck, I ordered one of the decals that they offer on the Guitar Fetish site. I ordered the Stooge Boguscaster. I thought that was just fun. I loved it. But this neck turned out to be just absolutely fantastic. I think the radius, if I look at it, I have to go check online, but the radius has to at least be 10. It might even be 12. All right, so now for the hardware. The hardware on this thing, I have a Mastery M1 kit bridge on here. Fantastic bridge. Absolutely love it. It's not the first guitar I've had with a Mastery bridge, but certainly it's the favorite guitar I've had with a Mastery bridge. The other one was a Rickenbacker, and it was a brand new Rickenbacker that I bought. I replaced the bridge. The vibrato system normally would be, there's a plate here, and that plate is by a company called Faction Guitars, F-A-C-T-I-O-N Guitars. And this is the Jazzmaster / Jaguar hardtail plate. And this hardtail plate comes in two varieties. One that's with a steep break angle and one with a less steep break angle. I went with the one with the steep break angle because personally I'm just not somebody who likes the extra ringing of those the strings after the bridge. And I have Hipshot locking tuners, which I've fallen in love with. The Hipshots, generally speaking, are significantly less expensive than what you might pay for, I say, Grover or Schaller. And the Hipshots, in my opinion, are every bit as good. So I went ahead and I ordered the string trees straight from Graphtech, and these string trees have the Tusq material. The area under which the strings go of the string tree, that's Tusq material. I have the Fishman battery pack on the back. I have it right over where the electronic plate would normally be. This guitar plays fantastically. When it came time to lay down all the tracks for this and come up with a composition, I did not expect this guitar to play as well as... I didn't have any expectations, frankly. I didn't give it any thought. I just thought, okay, well, I'm going to create a song with this guitar, and I will do a video about this guitar, and especially about how I made it. What I was not expecting was that I would fall in love with the playability of this guitar, and just how it felt in my hands, and how great of a guitar it is. Big surprise to me. Right, that was not the thing I was expecting. I was just expecting it to be a guitar, and I was going to use this guitar, make the video, move on. But I fell in love with the playability of this guitar. It's absolutely fantastic. It's a dream to play. So I didn't have the goggles on, and I had the nozzle pointed 180 degrees away from where it should be. So it was pointing at my face, and it sprayed onto my glasses. Too late. The glasses are not made of glass. You know, they're made of some plastic material because they're made to be lightweight, and sure enough, I just ruined them. Well, I had a backup pair, and... you know, after which I went to Lens Crafters and I got new glasses and all of that. But that was just one of the many things that happened that were just like, oh man, I don't know about this. This is painful. Just making silly, dumb mistakes. But eventually I finished it, and this is what came out the other end. And I'm telling you, I couldn't be prouder. So that's it. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notifications so you can be notified when I have a new video that comes out. And even though this seems like a small thing, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to other YouTubers. Hit that like button. That means a lot. It means that we're appreciated for what we're doing, because there's a lot of work that goes into these types of videos, not just me, but most YouTubers out there who are doing things. Most of them don't have somebody else who are doing the editing for them. They're doing it all themselves, the sound, the editing, everything else, and it always takes way longer than you might think. But go ahead and hit that like button, and thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. When I started the YouTube channel, I really just did it because I'm still doing it just because I enjoy doing this. But the fact that anybody watches and anybody even comments is amazing to me. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.